How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Wolf, and today just another messing around rally video, rally stage 4. I'll show you the track. Obviously, first up is the R87. It's not rapid, but it's just to get us started while I'm talking about where we're going to be going. Funnily enough there, by the way, I'll just say now, for later in the video, you would obviously, this has a better turning circle than the Dolphin, but it can be quite understeery, and yeah, it just like, I'll explain more later, but I'm just mentioning it so you know what I'm on about. I really like this anyway, like it's good. What I think as far as when you go in high speed and you're turning and stuff, I think because it's got like double rear axles, when you start drifting, the grip of all those four wheels overpower the front wheels, whether they're drifting themselves or they're pointing in the right direction, and it kind of flicks you back, and it can kind of result in understeer. It's not necessarily bad when you're going like down the road and stuff. Obviously I'm trying to mess around and drift and whatnot, so yeah, that's what I've noticed though. Like here, when I go to turn, I think you're trying to fight against that middle axle really as well, which yeah, it just makes it go a little bit wide. Next up's the old Lodestar. I think that was a glitch there. Either way though, I believe at the minute, I can't quite, I've either got highway tyres on or chained at the minute. I believe it's the highway tyres because I just wanted to see. I'm not going to try different tyres with all the other stuff, but I just was curious. See, along here, and it's not too bad, especially with this, but you see how you got like those grooves of the road where obviously loads of other trucks have got, and that's where like sometimes I've been pulling cargo with dual rear tyres, and they kind of, yeah, rather than sit in the V, they sort of just bridge over it, and it's like each edge of the bank of tyres sit on it. This was actually like a little bit narrow for that lot of tyre grooves, but the P16 is like too wide and so on. Some trucks just, yeah, they fit perfectly, and it's all good. So I believe, or I might have the highway tyres on now, I don't know, one of them, we'll see. I think these might be the highway actually. They look pretty dark and neat. The change, you can kind of tell they make them almost look a little bit, yeah, not as sharp. They definitely drift more there. Not necessarily a bad thing, not for me anyway, but almost went wide and flew into the river out on the outer edge. Obviously, I think I forgot to say, but yeah, this is the rally course for today. From the garage in Smithville, down the hill, do the corner, over the mud stuff where you could turn right to the farm, fly down here, get a nice bit of speed down there, usually drops it in high if it's not already there by then. Sorry, not high, like 8th gear. And yeah, across here, some of them I'm going to go round the dam and go a little bit further, others I'm not going to bother. That counts. That's how I usually get around that corner anyway, to be honest. Just ram my way. I'd rather ram my way around than lose all my momentum slowing down anyway. Obviously, if I've got like a trailer of cargo that I want to take somewhere, I probably wouldn't, but it's a different story. Yeah, I've been trying this thing out, definitely enjoying this beast. So you can even see how front, like how wide the front tyres sit, which is pretty nice. This, by the way, was obviously one of my first trucks I took down here, just because it happens to be near the top of my list in the garage. But yeah, like I wasn't as smooth on my rally track yet. There's a few more little bits of this one later, because it was yeah, once I got used to it a bit better. See, just stuff like this, like flopping around and stuff. But this was definitely felt more fun today doing this one. It was the trucks and even some of the scouts. To be honest, I had a lot more trucks and scouts that I did, but this video would have literally been like twice as long. I had like the Kodiak C70. I removed the ones where there's nothing like against them, it was just a pretty vanilla run where there was nothing too mad going on. Got a bit unlucky there, caught the rear mudguard on that sign. Right, who are you? Elizabeth Dam, eh? You're on the list. Look at that, come and tell the dam. Right now, look, I'm running for the recover button like, you ain't taking another one. Because I'll stay and watch, but my finger was definitely hovering over that recover button. I ain't buying another one. Ain't costing me 390 odd grand. I even sold the TwinSteer engine and everything to pay for the first Voron, so I was like completely skint, but yeah. See? It's right, damn. You don't make me come back here. Let that be a lesson to you. I mean, look at it. Good as new. To be honest though, I was like saying to someone else, if I finish a mission and I've still got a completely healthy truck, I kind of feel like more could have been done to get there quicker. Like a little air freshener on the back or something. It's good though, that's how you finish a rally. That's when you know you did it properly. Next up, this old beat, I believe that was just a glitch, but nothing too exciting. Apologies though. I still do like this truck. Like, I know it rolls. It's funny because and some people have obviously said it has got a small fuel tank, and yeah, in all honesty, I genuinely didn't like when I did the ANK review. Somebody said, "Oh, it's got you didn't mention fuel," and it's like, yeah, to be honest, I didn't. I personally, fuel's never an issue, especially in this, because I always roll it before I run out of fuel. So yeah, like to me, if you run out of fuel in this, you're not driving it fast enough. Like, I will always need a recovery vehicle that will just so happen to have fuel on it before I just need fuel. Or I'll make it, like again, even though it's got a smaller tank, it's a very quick truck, so you're still going to cover a lot more distance faster than you would in, say, the Azov John, which I like the Azov, like, I've still got that beast, I like it, it's a damn solid truck. I just, personally, I'd like to try it with like a different gearbox or a bit faster speed, but yeah, it's, see there, I clipped the anti-terrorist barricade, spat the arse end out to the left, and that was it. That's how you end an ANK run. See? Fuel isn't a problem. This thing, to be honest, I've been trying it a bit more, because Jeff was saying, like, the rear wheel drive stuff's pretty quick and so on, and it is, and I've played around with it before on, like, the White Valley runway, and this thing is pretty quick once you, get it wound up to speed. The only thing is, and it's not as bad on these roads, it definitely feels like something is resisting you in like that quarry map. Not just that one, but on those roads. And obviously the back end was always just trying to overtake you. This one, it's still a little bit of an issue. Not really an issue though, but obviously it's rear wheel drive, so it's naturally going to try and do that. But it's just not as bad. Like, for whatever reason, the friction stats or whatever, I don't know, like maybe I'm just, well, I don't think I am making it up, because you can see from the last rally video, it's like, I don't know, they all just felt a bit slow. Yeah, you can see me sort of fighting the the back end trying to overtake me. Tried a Jeff special, but yeah, got a bit sideways. I have to say though, to this thing's credit, it never really rolls. You can dig in and roll, I'm not saying you won't, but it does drift a hell of a lot rather than just roll straight away, especially if you keep it pinned. Which, yeah, 60% of the time it works every time. If lottery tickets work 60% of the time every time, I'd get one. Yeah, I made it around that corner. Little tap on the wall, but she counts. Over that dam, by the way, I don't know why, but the middle section, there is like some extra resistance, and it's either like the friction stats, or I was wondering, because you're driving over water, if there's like some kind of water resistance stats are kicking in, and they feel like they slow you down in the middle of that dam. And then when you get to the other side, you sort of go back to normal. You should see it a couple of times in this video, really. Here's the old off-road drifting snail. Gets a bit, because it's quite nose heavy, because the cab's just right at the front. It's sort of, as you're going down those hills, it can bob around on the front axle a bit. It's definitely not purpose-built rally snail. which is a shame because there's definitely a niche in the market for that. So just for me anyway. I'll have a rally snail. Yeah, like you see there, it dipped down on the front axle again, dug in and did a flip. At least it's fun when it crashes. Like, I do like this truck, I just do. For 30 grand it's well worth it. It's not the best truck in the game by any stretch, but it's pretty fast, it's pretty funny, it's pretty silly almost, but it's not like, we'll get to a ridiculous vehicle in a minute, but yeah, I don't know, it's just pretty fun. Like, I made it that time, I was sort of getting more used to, you know, what line to take and that, and yeah, it was like, it still motors along pretty well. There's a patch of mud there mid drift and it slows you down and grips in, and that, it got me a few times at the start of tonight hitting that post because I didn't go as wide as I was expecting, but yeah, I'll sort of get used to it as the video goes on. Like, it's not that slow through there, it's not rapid, but most things are kind of, in off-road, they're limited to whatever auto gear they sit in. It's pretty rare they ever build speed off-road, and high gear. I believe I might have tried a Jeff Special again. Got a bit crazy, but that's what happens. Pretty convenient little glitch there, just as I reversed out. Didn't take too much damage though, all things considered. That'll do. See, the old Dolphin. Well, I like that, it just builds up to speed really nice. But you see, when I'm turning it now, that's why I mentioned it with the R, I believe I do let off here, and then I just, like, literally blip the throttle, not just let off. But it made that corner, and what I was going to say is, like, the steering on this isn't, yeah, like, not that sharp or whatever. It's like, you'd have to do a 3-point turn in my cargo container, like, the little yard that I turn around in. But it always goes where you're pointing it. It's never really drifts the back end out. When you hit rocks, it doesn't really jump around. It doesn't really understeer. It just, even though it's not the fastest steering, it's very easy to predict where it's going, which means generally, I did that on purpose, by the way, just to, like, I knew I was going to obviously record it. Yeah, I mean, like, even in there, it stayed in high. As soon as it gripped into the mud, it wheel span in the river sort of bit, but it's gonna. But yeah, as soon as it got out, absolutely tore its way back up in high gear. And yeah, because of that, in general, even when, like, I know I'm on roads at the minute, but if I was flying flat out across bumpy terrain, obviously if it's really bumpy, you're going to be bouncing over all over the place. But it's very good at, like, you point it in a direction and hoof it, and it does very well at maintaining that direction. Like, I just hit it there, didn't get any engine damage. I don't, you know, this time I don't hit it. I didn't try and go slow around that corner. I think just as I let off, it just sort of died in the revs a bit. Yeah, but it made it around the corner. Like, it's not ridiculous. Like, the steering, I don't think the steering's bad. Maybe I just make slightly more allowances because it's a bit of a bigger vehicle. Like, obviously that's the thing I was sort of saying with the Voron AE, and to be fair, the Voron AE is better if you put smaller tyres on it, but then you lose the ground clearance. But yeah, for such a small truck, it's like, it's really noticeable for me. But in a, like the TwinSteer, I reckon I do make more allowances as well, because it's like a bloody 40-50 foot long truck. Give this a go. This thing's alright, to be honest. Again, off-roading, that's the thing with these, is like, especially when you're in your playthrough, it's a lot of money to invest in a truck that can't go off-road very well, which is kind of 90% of this game. But even when I said when it stole my Voron grad, I'll explain in a minute how I think that happened, by the way. Just, yeah, and I said, oh, why didn't you take the Ford CTL, this thing? I don't hate this or anything. When I said that, I just meant, like, this was about 48 grand at the time with how upgraded I had it. It's probably, like, a bit more now. I think I'd sold the top engine at that point. Yeah, I just said it because it's cheaper. Like, I wasn't particularly hating on this thing or anything. I'm guessing I did a Jeff. Went for it, dropped it in high. It definitely motors. Obviously, that's the, like, speed bug thing. By the way, oh yeah, I got that tree. It was on the list from about a month ago. It made me come back here, tree. yeah, just going to do a video at the I think around the 4th of July of like what he's been doing with his speed bug, so definitely worth checking out. It's pretty interesting, pretty funny glitch. I've been using it like everywhere I can while I'm sort of in between videos. Just normal high gear is never quite the same once you know about it. This thing as well, the TwinSteer, this is definitely a bit of, some people have realised, like, and they know this is a beast. Other people sadly just overlooked it, and I know why it got set up for failure really. Like when they put it in Island Lake and it was just sat in that boggy mud, already sank down, you had the smaller tyres on, blah blah blah. Like me, you probably tried to drive it out, was like, oh, this thing's shit without all-wheel drive. And then you probably thought, yeah, I'm busy now, I've got plenty of other trucks to use and blah blah blah, put my money into, and I just put it to the side for a bit. When it's fully upgraded particularly, this thing is just a plank of horsepower. Like, it brute forces its way through a lot of stuff that it shouldn't, and apparently they're going to make the thing all-wheel drive in the next update when they release the DLC. Bounce off the wall. Didn't take much engine damage though when I hit it. But yeah, that's what I like. Even across that dam where a lot of them seem to get held back, it was the same with Quarry. This thing doesn't really give a shit. Like, even when you go through, and yeah, if you go like serious off-roading and you've lost your momentum and blah blah blah, it ain't the best thing to take, like off-roading and all sorts. But when you're just gunning it down a road and there's patches of off-road, that thing just absolutely motors through everything. If they make it all, it'll almost be OP. Unless, like Jeff said, when you turn the all-wheel drive off, you seem to get a bit more power, which makes sense because you're cutting power from the front, so I guess the game's just feeding it to the rear. And with the TwinSteer, because that's only rear-wheel drive anyway, maybe that's why it feels really powerful and punchy. Like, if they make it all-wheel drive, it might balance. I hope it doesn't. I hope it's, even if it's a bit nuts, I hope it's still as meaty as it is now, but then they just, yeah, I don't think it needs all-wheel drive at all, but I enjoy it and it's a fun truck the way it is. But I'm certainly not going to complain. Like, whatever, like, yeah man, more the merrier. I wish they'd put a rally special gearbox in the game, even if you have to get to level 30. Yeah, just to be like, once you've done the game sort of thing, you can just play around. But again, mods will be at some point. You see there, I was barely even tipped, but it still managed to tip over, and because it's got quite a narrow chassis, it suffers from like chassis wobble a lot, where the back end is twisting one way and the cab's twisting the other way, and then as they're springing back on each other, like, it can keep the inertia of its cab weight as it's pinging back, and it just pulls it over pretty easily. That's what I was doing now. I was on the wrong side of the map, but I was looking. That trailer there was when I was like a few weeks ago with the Royal, and I was driving up there, which it was a little bit slow considering, but when I got to there I just hit some little bump, and it's like it just flicked me over to the side, and it's like just because when I bounced in the wrong way and it did like the chassis flex, and yeah, it just flung, like, because it's got a lot of head weight to it in the cab, it took me with it. I don't dislike it though. It's like, it's rapid and it's not a bad truck. I'd say if anything its biggest weakness is you find it early game and it's worth quite a lot of money, so it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of people just sold it. And look at it, it's like something ain't right, take it back to the shop. Well, you got one in blue I could try, mate. I think this red's clashing with the rev counter. Definitely something not right with it. Anyway, we'll try out yeah, the GMC 9500, I believe it's called. This thing as well is pretty damn quick. It is better if you put off-road on and etc etc. Like sometimes, yeah, I don't know if you can put mud tyres on this, but like off-road tyres or chained, and you upgrade it. But it's definitely like, even in when I did the White Western Star like recovery video, this thing really, yeah, like it just isn't up to the level of anything close to like the Tigers and stuff. But it's rapid on the road. It's probably, I've not specifically tried it, I've hauled cargo with it, but I didn't do a load of missions with it. It's very nice on the highway because it's steering, considering how quick it goes, its steering matches it pretty well, and it's very nice, smooth, fluent steering. So yeah, for highway hauling, like if you've got a route, you know, on like Black River, there's loads of like pretty much all road routes, even if you have to go round like the slightly longer way. Yeah, this thing just motors pretty nicely down the road, so it's honestly not that bad. Like, I'll be using it more. There's a lot of trucks that I've not used a lot just because there's so much to choose from. It's like I can't use them all at once, but I'll definitely get round to them. Oh yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure I do. Your Jeff special, and yeah. Someone said the other day there was some invisible wall up here. And I finally got up here, like, properly landed on my wheels. I have half flew over before, and I landed on something that looked like an invisible wall. Jesus, that sank like that brick. That teacher threw me. Yeah, well, that's how that one ended. It usually does. So I'll give it one more. Yeah, I might, like Jeff said he's sound with it, which I appreciate. I'm going to do a video on what I've learnt about that speed bug thing. Like, Jeff's got it down to a fine art, man. I'm still learning it. There's a few other trucks I found a bit of an easy way, but it's not like the full fat way. It's just like a bit easier. But yeah, like Jeff's way, I'm sort of still learning on some other trucks. It is like a beast. There's no two ways about it. I hope to hell they don't patch it, because it doesn't need patching. It will never bother anyone unless you want to use it. So yeah, they just need to leave it how it is. Yeah, first attempt with the Navistar, got a bit flip. I think it glitched mid-flip, but it's all good fun. I don't like waiting for those beeps before the engine starts, but I suppose it gives you a chance to see where you actually are before she fires up. Like I say, it's the reason it's called the Stevie Wonder, because you wonder where the hell you're going. That's why they call it a wonder bra as well. You take the bra off and wonder where the tits went. Sometimes, anyway. I'm just saying, when you have to lift your dress up to flash your tits, it's time to call it a day. Yeah, I have to say that I really do like this truck. I just didn't want to oversell it or whatever in yesterday's video, because it is real money, and it's like, I know it's, well, I'll say it's not a lot. It can be to some people. Plus, if you only play like an hour a week, it isn't worth getting really. But if you enjoy the game, you're playing it loads, and you, especially if you're early game, like, yeah, if 169 isn't going to make that much difference either way, then I'd definitely say it's a fun little toy to have. But it's not too bad even across there. A lot of them get slowed down, particularly as you go there from like the mud to the road. A lot of them slow down a lot, but yeah, get used to putting the camera to the like left or right a little bit. To be honest, I drive like this a lot anyway, because I can see exactly what my wheels are doing when my camera's slightly. So I drove like this a hell of a lot in MudRunner and that anyway, and I do in this game. But when you are going high speed, I'm not denying, like, looking forward without two giant clouds of smoke is preferable. But it did pretty well. Didn't catch as it went round that damn corner, which is nice, so like the edges of the bumper don't dig in. Took this little beast up next. Like I say, I used to have a car just like this. That's what, when I split my head open, I was saying the other day, well, when my brother split my head open, yeah, I remember looking out the window of the hospital. It's the first night I'd ever spent away from home. I remember seeing the old larder driving away, like, oh shit. By the next day, it was great. They had like computers there and everything. Probably like, I don't know what it was at the time, probably the Nintendo 64 or something, or the PS1. I don't know, they had some good stuff there, like maybe the Dreamcast or something. Whatever it was like good stuff for the time. Yeah, I mean, this is a fun little beast. It's like Days of Thunder. Best film ever made. Funny enough, I was watching, if anyone knows Cinema Sins, you probably don't, like, it's a monster channel, but Cinema Sins, to be fair, at least they did Days of Thunder, best film ever made. Yeah, and they said on it, what was it? Oh yeah, like in the film, he ends up getting into a race with a taxi driver, and Cinema Sins gave it a sin because they said that's unrealistic. Like, bullshit. Top 3 most realistic breakup scenarios ever. What do normal films do? They're like, oh, we're going to break up because an asteroid isn't going to hit the Earth in the next day, and then it's like, oh, look, an asteroid, let's get married. Like, that's unrealistic. Racing a taxi is the most natural feeling in the world. Sometimes you don't even know you're doing it. It's like stretching. You're just sitting there, reclined, and next thing you know, you're eyeballing the rear seat passenger of a taxi. Like, that's right. If I was your taxi driver, I would have got you there faster. They're ripping you off. But yeah, I mean, like, surely everybody's ended up getting into a race with it, even if you don't realise it. That's the thing. I mean, look at this. Looks a bit like a Fiat 500 there, like rally spec. I like it. Yeah, I mean, it's been taking lessons off the Loaf. That's that damn told, and we're off. Yeah, like I say, it's not a bad little beast. Funnily enough, though, the Loaf was about as fast as that there. This thing, well, look at it. I'm trying to go to the right. Yep, I'd like to go that way, please. Like, it isn't just me, because every goddamn rally stage I've brought this out on, it's like, you just can't point the thing in the direction you want to go. Look at it. It's like, I drove every single other truck along here without incident. I didn't hit that telegraph pole once. Look at it now, though. It's like, you cocky little sod. I mean, it's just showing off there. That's why you see, though. Keep it pinned, fingers crossed. 60% of the time works every time. Can't go wrong. But yeah, look at it. It's like you constantly... This vehicle is a lesson in corrective steering, just endlessly. Once you're off-road, it's a hell of a lot better. But anything less than off-road, and it's just a maniac. Like, that is... One good thing is because it has got quite wide tyres, it does end up back on its wheels more than not, but not by much. Like, you also get this happening. I mean, look at it, it's like, what was that? A little jump for freedom. So I tried to give it one more go, but this is all it is. It's like, and you never know when you... whoever drove the... I think it was the Lancia Stratos, the rally driver that used to drive that back in Group B rally, like the best rally ever. That's why I don't watch rally at the minute. It's just not... I grew up watching Group B and stuff, and it's just not the same. This, by the way, should be the thumbnail for the DLC, like, just so you know what you're actually getting. Yeah, the Lancia Stratos, like the guy said, you could go around the same corner twice. The first time it'll understeer, the next time it'll oversteer, and you never know. It could twitch left, it could twitch right, it could 360, and that's what I just normally, like, I know I'm going around here anyway, but that's what I normally do, is just splat it into a wall, and it's like, right, I'm done with you. Get the Loaf out. I brought this beast because, to be honest, it's surprisingly quick once you actually get it up to speed. I've sort of learnt that flying it down the White Valley runway. Clipped me a trophy CK there, but it's all good. I have to say, this thing is definitely thick. Thick with a double C. Some serious rear end. But see what I mean? Once you actually get it motoring along, like, it's not bad, but that axle is just, yeah, they need to remove that axle. They have actually, somebody told me, I appreciate it, they've put diffs on the, on this now. I'll be honest, I can't even remember if it had or didn't have diffs, but I'm sure it didn't, because, yeah, it's got diffs. I believe they're always on. I don't think I can turn them off or anything, so... By the way, just what I remember, you see how there's a black square behind, like, the gearbox, and there's a black, like, painted line over the handbrake? They need something over, like, the fuel and the, you know, damage icons, because sometimes, especially on the snowy maps, you can hardly read the bloody thing, but because that gearbox has got, like, a black patch, like, it looks like a paint stroke almost, it's got, like, the rough edges or whatever, but yeah, you can see it, really, whatever. Yeah, like I say, this thing does motor along. I ended up hitting the wall, it dug in, so it didn't smooth its way around. Next up the late, I just changed it to daytime. It's just because you can see its tyres better, like its special Azov wellies in direct sunlight. So, yeah, like I say, like we'll see how the Loaf does. Now, if you go into tyres, go down, I think it's under chained, it should just say, like, you know, Azov wellies, Voron wellies, Tiger wellies, TwinSteer wellies, like loads of them. Like, they're not cheap, but they're definitely worth sticking on. Like, I mean, look, when people say like their Loaf is not very good in mud, it's like, not my Loaf. My Loaf's a professional. He knew which wellies to wear. I mean, he's probably got frog wellies somewhere. Remember them frog wellies? Like, everyone had a pair of frog wellies with just a little, like, whoever invented them, and I say invented very, very loosely, but probably a bloody millionaire now living on some yacht just because he stuck a pair of frog eyes on green wellies. What a goddamn genius. I mean, yeah, look, like, this was one of the quickest times tonight. Like, Loaf's pretty nippy. Its tyres did dig in there a bit on the wall, but it didn't take any damage. Popped its brake lights on just to warn people behind, just in case. Like a professional. I mean, horse of a vehicle. This Voron, like I say, I came back and had a few more goes. That mud bit there just really eats your speed. I really want to come flat out down here, and I feel like that mud gets you a bit more than it used to. Made it around the corner though, it counts. Which is nice, that this bumper actually, I have to say, I've hit a lot of trees with this, that if you can't kill the tree, you often bounce off and don't lose all your speed. Like, it's pretty good. Like, it's a better compromise than just stopping dead on a tree. It's like, instead of losing to a tree, it's like a draw. It's like, well, I didn't kill you, but I've still killed plenty of trees with it, but some of the trees that ain't budging, it just sort of bounces off sideways and carries on, which is pretty handy. Rolled the TwinSteer. Looking around like, I know what to do. Send in the Loaf. I mean, look at it. And then now, it's on like, I've got to try and pull it up that bank as well, but, I mean, not sure if I've said this, but it's goddamn horse of a vehicle. Look at it, just shoving a TwinSteer around, like, it's a paper bag. And obviously, the Loaf gets the job done. I mean, what a beast. Look at it. I believe the goddamn fence is down. That horn was so meaty, I wouldn't be surprised if Fred Flintstone's sliding down a Brontosaurus because he thought it's home time. That's how good that horn is. I mean, I think that just did its horn, but I can't even tell. My ears are still ringing from the Loaf horn. I mean, look, this thing can't even reach that lamppost. That's why you get yourself a Loaf. However, this plank of horsepower, you stick it in low range with the diffs on, and even though it is only rear wheel drive, this thing is going to be insane if it's all wheel drive as well. If it has this much oomph to it and it still feels like this much whilst it's powering all the wheels, like, I already think this thing is a beast, but it's going to be crackers because it'll get through a lot of even more muddy stuff. It'll get up a lot more hills. Like, it'll be, yeah, but good because I like it how it is. I'm not bothered that it hasn't got all-wheel drive. However, if a lot of people ain't enjoying it, it's like, who cares? Bang all-wheel drive on it, up the power. Like, that's the name of the game. We've paid our money, so let's all just have, like, the game the way we want it. That's what the good thing is about mods as well. Like, say, again, there's a guy, Captain America, he's got a load of mods. He'll have to put a link and I'll have to pin it or something. Yeah, he's got, like, mods that he's just tweaked where it's sort of how you'd want them to be if they hadn't artificially made them a bit slower, a bit weaker, etc. to kind of fit at what point they appear in the game and so on. Like the Azov John, prime example, absolute beast of a truck. Like, if you got that as an early game truck, you're basically on easy mode. It's just that it's not that rapid. Like, when you can get the Dolphin, it's basically just the bigger brother of it. It's like, it's a bit stronger, it's faster, etc. But I think you have to be a higher level to unlock it. And yeah, the Azov John, like I say, I've kept it because it's a bloody solid truck, and it'll be I can just tell it'll be good at towing all sorts. So, oh, by the way, I was just blabbering on then, but see, like, the sunlight coming through the trees a minute ago, it's like, they've definitely nailed the way that I really like that. Like, I like the scenery on this whole game. I quite often can just sit there if I'm eating my dinner or something. It's like, I'll just go and park on a hill, and it's like, they've definitely done a good job on this. I had to give this another go. I'm definitely liking the way it drifts around there and stuff. If you got it in auto and then you bang it in high as you're going around a corner, obviously if you're already going pretty fast, high's not going to spin up, like, but yeah, as long as you're in like first, second or third, it's not bad when you drop it in high. What I've been liking as I got more used to this course, sort of throw it around here, go a bit wide, bang it in high about now, and it kind of follows the back end round. It was pretty nice. I was testing that out for a little bit. I will have one or two more attempts, but this was just a bit of a cleaner run down here because, yeah, like I say, when I did it earlier, it was one of my early runs, just smoothing things out. This definitely, though, if you want to test like the high speed of trucks and, you know, do they wobble? See, See there, it bounced off the tree. Like, that's what it seems to do quite a bit if you don't kill the tree, which is pretty handy. Yeah, if you want to test some, like, this is just quite a nice road to do, like, see? Told that damn he'd be back. I don't give a damn. Yeah, it's you can get quite a nice high speed in that, and it's just, the White Valley runway is pretty damn good, but if you don't want to be on snow, it's, yeah, see there, bang it in high. It's a really nice corner. Like, I'd still love to be able to do it like twice as fast. Again, at some point, if we get, well, when we get console mods, I'll yeah, I want a truck that can go like 120 to 150 pretty comfortably. Stick it in high, look at it, floats around. Just grips in that mud, but I was used to it. Brush past the lamppost, like I say, it's cold trickle all over again. It's turn 4 on Daytona. And yeah, it's not too, like, it's fine across that mud. Like I say, this is a very nice truck, I can't deny. It's like, since I've reviewed it, I was like, god damn, this is pretty damn nice. I've also driven the Voron D. See, told that tree I'd be back. Yeah, and the Voron D is bloody nice as well. When I was testing it mainly for the container contest, because it has the like special gearbox that's like a special off-road one or something, it doesn't have the high range, I believe. Yeah, it wasn't quite as fast on the container contest, but I already knew when I was driving it, I was like, this is a solid truck. It's just, right now I'm looking for speed. Sticking it in high as I'm flipping. It's still good. Keep it pinned and fingers crossed. See? It counts. And we're off. Didn't even take any damage. What a professional. See, that's the thing though. Like, someone said the other day, by the way, like, when I lost my first Voron, imagine if it took my Loaf, and it's like, trust me, I'd be saying to the PS4, if you don't want to be counting the goddamn microchips you haven't got, I suggest you get my Loaf back now. But the Loaf's a professional. He knows how to dodge truck stealing glitches, but he hadn't taught my Voron yet because I only had it a day. Jeff special. When Jeff Tech kicks in, things get leery. You go into the headrest and out the back of the cab. Yeah, the Loaf hadn't taught it yet how to avoid truck glitches, but now it has. It's all good. Yeah, what I believe I did, I recovered the Voron to Zimnegorsk, but I didn't retain it in my garage, and then I turned the game off, and when I loaded it back up, it was loading Zimnegorsk, and then just before it finished loading Zimnegorsk, it started loading Drowned Lands, and I was already then like, oh no. And then yeah, I went back to Zimnegorsk, whatever. It's just gone. It's completely gone. That's how I like to finish a rally though. And this is the last one, just quickly. I thought just at the end I was like, well, I'll do a nighttime rally special. Why not give the ANK a second go? Like I say, I know this thing has got faults because it rolls like a goddamn beast, but it is a bloody good truck. It isn't that great on snow. It's not weak on snow. It's just slow. But I wouldn't say it's like bad and terrible. But it's, yeah, it's definitely a lot of like roads, dirt, mud, pretty damn decent. Yeah, it's just a good choice. Like, it's one of them, you get it and you're like, yes, it gets a nice pace, it's a bit fun, it's a bit exciting. Like, that's the thing with the slower trucks. Nothing against them for completing missions, they're brilliant, but after a while it's just like, I need enough happening like this, where it's drifting a bit and you have to try and catch it, and it's like, I'm not getting bored then and glancing at my phone or whatever and thinking, oh, I'll stick a video on. It's like, I've got enough to keep me busy, and it's just like, yeah, I just sort of prefer it like that. After long enough, like I say, I did the majority of my playthrough with the off-road gearbox in my Navistar beast. So yeah, that's about it for this thing. Got down there pretty quick. Gets a nice little arse ender. It's not quite Tokyo Loaf, but it's trying. Yeah, anyway, that's about it for today. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon.